Genesis chapter 8. And God remembered Noah, and all the beasts, and all the cattle that were with him in the ark. And God made a wind to pass over the earth, and the waters assuaged. The fountains also of the deep and the windows of heaven were stopped, and the rain from heaven was restrained. And the waters returned from off the earth continually. And after the end of 150 days, the waters decreased. And the ark rested in the 7th month, on the 17th day of the month, upon the mountains of Ararat. And the waters decreased continually until the 10th month. In the 10th month, on the 1st day of the month, were the tops of the mountains seen. And it came to pass at the end of 40 days that Noah opened the window of the ark which he had made, and he sent forth a raven, and it went forth to and fro, until the waters were dried up from off the earth. And he sent forth a dove from him, to see if the waters were abated from off the face of the ground. But the dove found no rest for the sole of her foot, and she returned unto him to the ark, for the waters were on the face of the whole earth. And he put forth his hand, and took her, and brought her in unto him into the ark. And he stayed yet other 7 days. And again he sent forth the dove out of the ark. And the dove came into him at eventide, and lo, in her mouth an olive leaf plucked off. So Noah knew that the waters were abated from off the earth. And he stayed yet other 7 days, and sent forth the dove. And she returned not again unto him any more. And it came to pass, in the 601st year, in the 1st month, the 1st day of the month, the waters were dried up from off the earth. And Noah removed the covering of the ark, and looked, and behold, the face of the ground was dried. And in the 2nd month, on the 27th day of the month, was the earth dry. And God spake unto Noah, saying, Go forth from the ark, thou, and thy wife, and thy sons, and thy sons' wives with thee. Bring forth with thee every living thing that is with thee of all flesh, both birds and cattle, and every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth, that they may breed abundantly in the earth, and be fruitful, and multiply upon the earth. And Noah went forth, and his sons, and his wife, and his sons' wives with him, every beast, every creeping thing, and every bird, whatsoever moveth upon the earth after their families, went forth out of the ark. And Noah builded an altar unto Jehovah, and took of every clean beast and of every clean bird, and offered burnt offerings on the altar. And Jehovah smelled the sweet savor. And Jehovah said in his heart, I will not again curse the ground any more for man's sake, for that the imagination of man's heart is evil from his youth. Neither will I again smite any more everything living as I have done. While the earth remaineth, seed time and harvest, and cold and heat, and summer and winter, and day and night shall not cease. Explication of Genesis chapter 8. And Jehovah smelled the sweet savor. Smelled the sweet savor. This phrase conveys God's acceptance of Noah's offering. The sweet savor is not about the physical smell, but is symbolic of God's pleasure in Noah's faithful act of worship. It demonstrates that sacrifices offered with sincerity and faith are pleasing to God. This moment highlights the importance of worship and thanksgiving, even after difficult experiences. Noah's gratitude sets the tone for humanity's renewed relationship with God after the flood. And Jehovah said in his heart, I will not again curse the ground any more for man's sake. Said in his heart. This intimate phrasing reflects God's internal commitment and his intentional decision to show mercy despite humanity's sinful nature. I will not again curse the ground. This does not reverse the curse from Genesis 3:17-19, but signifies that God will not again bring a global judgment on creation like the flood. It reveals his grace and long-suffering nature toward humanity. The curse on the ground in Genesis 3 led to toil and hardship. While this curse remains, God promises not to escalate this judgment further in response to humanity's sin. For that, the imagination of man's heart is evil from his youth. Imagination of man's heart. This phrase mirrors Genesis 6:5, acknowledging humanity's inherent tendency towards sin. God recognizes that the human heart is predisposed to selfishness and rebellion from his youth. This emphasizes that the inclination to sin is present early in life, a consequence of the fall. Despite this truth, God chooses to show mercy, highlighting his compassion and desire for relationship rather than destruction. Neither will I again smite any more everything living as I have done. This reaffirms God's promise not to destroy all life on earth through a flood again. It reflects his mercy and his intention to sustain life despite humanity's continued shortcomings. This statement also introduces the idea of God's covenant faithfulness, which will later be formalized in Genesis 9 with the sign of the rainbow. While the earth remaineth, seed time and harvest, and cold and heat, and summer and winter, and day and night shall not cease. While the earth remaineth. This phrase acknowledges the temporality of the current creation, foreshadowing the eventual renewal of all things, Revelation 21:1. However, it also assures humanity of stability in the present world. Seed time and harvest, cold and heat, summer and winter, day and night. These references to natural cycles emphasize God's provision and the order he sustains in creation. Despite humanity's sin, God ensures the continuity of life and the rhythms necessary for survival. This promise reflects God's faithfulness in maintaining creation and his intention for the earth to be a place where humanity can live and thrive.